Greetings, beautiful people. Welcome back to Find XYZ. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. We are still on the road to WASSCE 2026. Let's try this question. You have been given two quantities x and y such that quantity y varies as the square of another quantity, that is x plus 1. You've been given the value of y to be 200 when x is 4. You have been tasked to find two things. The first one is to find the equation connecting these two quantities, that is x and y, and also to determine the positive value of x when y is equal to 50. Let's dive in. Now this is a direct variation because the statement is saying that y varies. So with direct variation, as one quantity increases, the other quantity also increases. So it is direct. They are all in the same direction. So if y decreases, it means that s will also decrease. They are all moving in the same direction. Direct variation, the order in which the quantities were mentioned is very important. What was mentioned first? Quantity y. So we are saying that y varies. So let's write y varies as the square of the second quantity, which is x plus 1. So I'll bring that x plus 1. But we are saying that square of, so I'll bring my square. However, I can't operate using this proportional symbol. So I'll introduce the equal sign. And introducing the equal sign comes with a condition. The condition that I introduce the constant of proportionality. So I have x plus 1 all squared. Then what can I do? We have been given the values of y and x. So I'll substitute these values. What is y? Y is 200 is equal to k multiplying. What is the value of x? That is 4. Then I'll bring my plus 1 all squared. Now what is 4 plus 1? Let's simplify the stuffs in the bracket. That will give us 5. Then we'll bring our squared. We have 200. But what is 5 squared? 5 squared means 5 multiplying 5. And that will give us 25. So we have 25k. Then I'll bring my 200. Because I'm looking for k, not 25k, I would have to divide because 25 is multiplying, and if I want to eliminate multiplication, I introduce division. So I divide both sides by 25. And what is the value of k? How many 25 by 200? That will be 8. So k is equal to 8. We have been tasked to find the equation connecting x and y. So here I know k. I'll just have to substitute k back into the equation. So I have the equation connecting x and y to be equal to y is equal to, what is the value of k? 8 into bracket x plus 1 all squared. That is the first part. So we have been able to determine the equation connecting x and y, and we can only see x and y in our final equation. The second part, so this is what we are going to use. So let me write the equation here. So y is equal to 8 into bracket x plus 1 all squared. Then the second part, we have been asked to determine the positive value, keyword positive value of x when y is 50. The reason is that you realize that we have a square there. It means that it is a quadratic equation. So we are going to get two possible values. However, we've been tasked to find the positive value. So we are going to focus on the positive aspect. So let's substitute in y. What is y? Y is 50. So 50 is equal to 8 into bracket x plus 1 all squared. Then we can isolate. We can divide everything by 8. So we'll do that. Then can we simplify this? Yes. 2 can divide both 50 and then 8. So I can express 50 as 25 times 2, and I can express 8 as 4 times 2. Then I have x plus 1 all squared. Then 2 divides 2. That's simple, right? So I have 25 over 4 is equal to x plus 1 all squared. But you realize that 25 and 4, it should ring a bell. They are perfect squares. So I can express 25 as 5 squared, and I can express 4 as 2 squared. I've not changed the number. I've just written the number in another form. However, from our indices class, if I have a to the power b over c to the power b, I can write this as a over c all to the power b because they are sharing a common exponent. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'll write this as 5 over 2 all squared is equal to x plus 1 all squared. Now because we are only looking for the positive value, since the powers are the same, I can equate the bases. Okay, so I can write 5 over 2 is equal to x plus 1, so that I'll forget about the negative aspect of the number, right? Then what can I do? I can subtract 1 from both sides of this equation. So subtract 1 from both sides. I want to write the 1 as 2 over 2, which is the same as 1, because I want them to have the same denominator so that I can subtract easily. This will be 0, so we are left with x. So 5 over 2 minus 2 over 2. If I have a over b minus c over b, I can write this as a minus c all over b. Same thing, I can write this as 5 minus 2 all over 2. Then my final answer, what is 5 minus 2? That will give us 3 over 2. Now take note, never leave your final answer in an improper fraction. So this is an improper fraction because the numerator is bigger or greater than the denominator. So what we can do is we can change this to mixed fraction. So you ask yourself, how many 2 are in 3? That is 1. Remember, 1 all over 2. So this is 1 1/2. So the value of x, or the positive value of x, is 1 1/2. that is the value of x. So you realize that we started with y to be 200 and x was 4. Now what's something? As y decreases, you realize that s has also decreased. So you realize that they are all moving in the same direction. So with direct variation, as one quantity increases, the other quantity will also increase. As one quantity decreases, it means that the other quantity will also decrease. At any point in time, they are all moving in the same direction. That is all I have for you for today. If you found this helpful, kindly subscribe, leave a comment, and share this video to at least 10 friends. I'll be back with another one. I'm out.